be evaluating Andrea, as we talked about earlier. So feel free to listen in on the speech. As far as her speech, I didn't quite know which speech she was actually on, but it was her third speech. And she did have a kind of jump up in the book here to her fifth manual speech. It was interesting just to see how that kind of transition would play into your overall speech quality, which is something I'll be talking about in this review. Because you're doing a slightly different project than just the pure manual speech, I'll be kind of blending my review with your overall goals for this speech. The first thing I want to say is your overall, I guess you could say, presentation of the speech was actually very well done. You were very well poised and you stood very nicely and seemed to actually greet everyone in the room, which is a very important skill to have, especially when you're giving a large audience speech. You really need to get that audience kind of engaged. You had a great opening where you started talking about your speech, and your introduction was very well done also, because it talked about the controversial topic that you would have later on, and that really kind of keyed up everybody's interest, and everybody got kind of talking about your speech even before you got out there to talk, which is great if you have that introduction capability in your actual contest. Really use that point, because that'll help just pique everybody's interest. As far as your gestures and your manner and your overall just flow to the speech, I felt you were doing pretty good up here, and you kind of had a momentary lapse of what you were talking about, where you retreated behind the lectern to stay for the remainder of the speech. Now, it made it a little bit difficult to really engage with your audience at that point, just something that probably comes with more speaking experience, which is not something you're going to be able to jump up and get. That's just something you want to really ingrain in yourself, to be able to just know your speech and be able to deliver it to each and every person in the room. Some things that I thought you maybe could do a little bit better was really emphasizing your points. You had actually a lot of really good points. You talked about family and career. There's a lot of hot topics in there, but they kind of got lost with your delivery vocally, because you left everything kind of monotone and quiet in your presentation. So really just take those deep breaths and try to project those words out to the audience. That really helps get your points across. And if you can, tie those into your actual gestures as well, like if you're doing a pie, make sure that we can see that pie. Because I saw you kind of do a pie here, but it wasn't something I could really dig out. Some of the things I liked in your speech was that you actually talked about partnership and choosing your goals for your overall career path, and that's such an important topic, I'm sure, to everyone in here, but especially women, because you have to make those hard choices. One thing that I thought needed a little improvement was that you talked about how important family was, but then you went on to say that you didn't have one, so I think you should make that clarification that you made that choice because you value family so much that you wanted to be able to focus on one thing before moving to the next. Other than that, I left you a bunch of different review topics, but I did enjoy the speech, and I thought you had some excellent points in there. Very well done.